The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello everyone, and thank you for attending. The goal of this webinar is to get new customers to the point that they can start using the software on their own, although our returning veterans should find this to be a helpful refresher as well. For the first part of this webinar, we'll discuss the mechanics of setting up an account, namely how to customize your user and company profile and how to set up users, roles, and groups. Then we will give a brief overview of the four-step marketing sales cycle, which will give you a framework for understanding where and when to use each tool. After that, we will provide a breakdown of each step in the cycle. Here, we will show what tools we have to help you at each phase and the mechanics of how to use those tools. Finally, we'll spend the end of the webinar discussing any questions you may have. As we go through this presentation, you can either follow along on the slides or open up your own account and follow from there. We'll start with the most basic part of using Mindmatrix, logging in. Depending on whether you are an MSP or MM Direct customer, type in either mm.amp.vg into your search bar or msp.amp.vg. From there, enter in your username and password and click Login. To customize your user profile, go to the user profile link on the upper left-hand corner of the screen. In each of the three tabs, Personal Info, Company, and Social, you can enter in the info that the software will use for all personalizations. The buttons on the upper right-hand corner of the screen allow you to manage software integration, change your password, and access images and documents. To edit your company info, click on the link next to your username. Here you can enter in the information that will be used for personalizations just as you would for your username. In the upper left-hand corner of the screen, you can see three buttons. Again, these will allow you to edit company images, documents, and branding standards. Now that your account is set up for yourself, we can discuss how to grant others access to the system. For this next part of the tutorial, we'll discuss setting up users, roles, and accounts. To access any of these, go to Setup, then select the User Management section. Under the User Management tab, admins can grant three types of permissions: users, roles, and groups. The Users section allows individuals to access the software. The Roles section allows users to specify the types of actions they can perform. Finally, the Groups sections allows an admin to assign a user to multiple roles at once. First, we'll look at how to create users. There are four tabs in the User section: Info, Contact Info, Groups, and Roles. Info allows you to enter data that will be used for personalization. Contact Info, as the name would suggest, allows you to enter in contact info for a user. Finally, in the Groups tab, you can assign a user to multiple groups or a group, and in the Roles tab, you can assign a user to a role or multiple roles. When you are finished with all of your settings, simply click Save. Now we'll discuss roles. To create a role, go to User Management and then Role and then click Create. In this section, you will see three tabs: Media, System, and Features. In the Media tab, you can specify the type of marketing and sales materials a user can access. For example, in this screenshot, if we keep this slider at Not Set, the user would be unable to see any print assets. If we move the slider all the way up to View, then the user would be able to create, edit, and share or delete any print piece. In the System tab, we can specify the databases that a user can access. So for example, if you want to set a user's permission slider for contacts all the way down to Not Applicable, the user would not be able to see any contact. If you moved it to View, he or she could view contacts, but would not be able to create or edit any info. If you moved the slider all the way to delete, they would be able to remove contacts from the database entirely. In the Features tab, you can select the software features that a user can access, such as drip campaigns or the user marketing interface. When you have finished setting permissions for a specific role, click Save. Next, we'll discuss groups. To create a group, go to User Management, and then Groups, and then click Create. Give your group a name and description, and then click Next. Then select the users that you wish to add to your group. Then select the roles that you wish to add. When you are finished, click Save. Now that we've got our account set up, we can discuss the sales and marketing cycle, which will give you an overview of when to use each of the tools that we're about to discuss later on in the presentation. Now, the funnel can also be thought of as a sales marketing cycle, and that's the framework that we'll be using for this presentation. This cycle has two parts, a marketing phase and a sales phase. In the marketing phase, also called the lead generation phase, you use your professional network to generate leads, possibly with the help of Mindmatrix's analytics and/or prospecting tool. Next, you execute a media campaign to nurture those leads in the nurturing phase. Then we move on to the sales phase. The first part of the sales phase is engagement. This is where the marketing department passes on the most responsive prospects to the sales team, who then place the contact into a sales campaign. Finally, in the sales approach phase, the sales team selects the most responsive contacts from that list and approaches them to close a deal. Meanwhile, the marketing team continues to generate new leads, some of whom will be customer referrals, thus continuing the cycle. For the next part of this webinar, we'll take a look at each phase of the cycle in detail and learn about the tools that Mindmatrix has to help with each phase. We'll start by looking at the beginning of the sales cycle, lead generation. Now, leads come from a variety of sources, none of which should be ignored. However, for this webinar, we will be strictly focusing on how Mindmatrix can be used as a tool for lead generation. Mindmatrix provides 4 tools that can help you identify leads: the LinkedIn prospecting tool and the website, form, and social media tracking tools. We'll start by looking at the LinkedIn tool. The LinkedIn tool allows you to pull contact information from your LinkedIn account into Mindmatrix. To use this tool, first make sure that you have the AMP widget properly installed. If it is, you should see an M icon next to your address bar. As a quick side note, this edition also allows you to use our Outlook and Chrome extensions. If it is properly installed, then go to LinkedIn and then search for the person that you wish to add. Then select the AMP widget next to your profile picture. All names that appear in the searcher result will also appear on the AMP widget. From there, choose the list that you want to use, or you can create your own list using the plus icon. Then select the individual or individuals that you wish to add and click Add. You can also use this technique to search groups and add all or part of a group. When you are finished, you can go back to the Mindmatrix platform and look at the list section to make sure that all contacts were properly imported. The next 3 methods we're going to discuss don't allow you to seek out individuals. Instead, it allows you to capture the contact information of individuals that are coming to you. We'll start by talking about website tracking. To set up a website, go to Manage, then External Tracking, then Sites, and then click Create. Then enter the URL of the website that you wish to track. When the tracking code appears, copy and paste it into your website's HTML. For a brief overview of tracked leads, you can simply look at the dashboard. For more detailed metrics, go to the Report section. From there, go to External Tracking and then click Sites. Then go to the Recent Activities section and click on the specific website that you want to view. When the Recent Activities window opens up, go to the Views drop-down menu and then select Contacts. This will open up a comprehensive list of all contacts that have visited your site. Next, we're going to look at our form tracking feature. To view completed lead generation forms, go to Reports and then Web and then Forms. Select the form that you want to view. If one does not appear, then click View All Forms. Then select the form that you want to view and click Signups to view the contact's info. Or more specifically, click on the number next to the signup section. From here, you can just look at the most active contacts and start passing them on to either your marketing or sales team, depending on the exact level of engagement that they have. To find contacts who have visited your social media pages, go to Reports and then Social, and then select the type of social media that you want to view. From there, click on any post that contains any content that you want to observe. From there, click on the type of social media post that you want to view. Then, when the window opens up, go to the View drop-down menu and select Contacts. This will again give you a comprehensive list of all contacts and anonymous visitors that have engaged with your post. Now that we've covered how to observe the contacts coming to your site, we're going to discuss the next phase of the sales marketing cycle, lead nurturing. The goal of lead nurturing is to move contacts into the awareness phase of the buyer's journey. Lead nurturing is the phase where you educate a prospect about a problem and the type of solution that you provide. Remember, at this phase, you are educating, not selling. You need to reach across a variety of channels such as email, social media, blog posts, and newsletters. These drip channels can be unified into a single campaign, often called drip campaigns. To create a drip campaign, go to Manage and then Campaign and then Drip Nurturing. From there, select a name, sender, content, and the recipients of your campaign to start it. Alternatively, you can select a pre-made drip campaign to add the contacts to. In the Reports section, you can view the effectiveness of your drip campaigns and make adjustments from there. There are a couple of different places on the dashboard to measure the effectiveness of your outreach attempts. On both the marketing and sales dashboards, you can view the activity feed and the company lists graph. The activity feed provides real-time feedback on customer actions, while the activities list graph shows you overall levels of customer engagement. Although you can view specific contact info by clicking on any of the nodes of this graph. The sales dashboard provides two additional sections: the last 5 email campaigns and the prospect conversion sections. The last 5 emails campaign section shows the performance of your last 5 emails, while the prospect conversion graph shows you how fast contacts are moving down the sales funnel. Again, you can also see the performance of individual contacts by clicking on this blue number. As contacts become more engaged with your material, you can move them onto the next phase of the cycle, lead engagement. This is where you send messages that move from an educational tone to something a little bit more salesy. However, the tools you use to reach out to customers and the tools you use to measure customer engagement are essentially the same. And so we'll be moving on to the next phase of the cycle, which is the sales approach. This is where you approach the contact. This is where you approach the contact with the intent of making a sale and closing a deal. The key to a successful sale is preparation and persistence. You need to have a game plan for approaching your contact. To assist with this phase, we have a tool called the Playbook, a customizable step-by-step guide to completing the sales process with customized assets such as call scripts for each step. To add a contact to a playbook, go to Playbook and then select Internal. From there, select a contact. Their info and history will appear on the left-hand side of the screen. From there, just follow the steps listed and use the assets listed in each step of the playbook. When the deal is closed, remember to ask if he or she would be willing to refer the product or service to any others, which will lead to more leads and thus continuing the cycle. And that is how you bring a contact from lead to sale. Thank you very much for attending the webinar. I know that I condensed a lot of information into a very short amount of time. So if anyone has any questions or anything that they would like a more in-depth look at, I would be happy to help and answer questions. Thank you.